Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Perry here. A quick update for you. I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible. What you're looking at is all the rock from the sump makes its way a third of the way into this 48 by 24 inch wide by 10 inch deep peninsula style prop tank that has now been converted into a Fuge. Now it's going to run cryptic for a while. The lights of the T5s you see right now in the video are only for the video. This room is going to just basically run dark for the rest of the winter, and then we'll see what happens as the spring comes along. I'll make a decision on whether or not I want to continue cryptic based on my nutrients and how the smooth corals are doing in the Bami. But based on that, I may make a decision for energy purposes to not run any lights on this system and run it cryptic. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But ultimately, there will be nothing in the sump except for the protein skimmer and maybe a passive bag of carbon in a return pump. I will also allow that to be sort of the gathering spot of detritus or the inert stuff that we don't want in our system, that I used to have to siphon out of the Acro Lagoon. Now, since we've converted and added a thin, and I mean thin, layer of sand to the Bami, that'll be easily disturbed. I'm not even going to add a lot of inverts, sand sifting inverts, if you will, because the sand bed is like literally an inch, if not less, in most parts of the Bami. It's just enough to give the effect, not necessarily for the benefits that you get from a sand bed. This way it's easily stirred. I can then lift everything into the water column. It will overflow without a filter sock in the system. We'll hopefully collect, and then since it's a shared return pump to the system you're looking at here as well as the Bami, my hopes are that by the time it hits one side of the sump and then travels down to the return, that the return is not pushing anything that's in suspension. Anything that is ultimately will be a food source, and I'm fine with that. Now again, this is going to run cryptic, so not having light over it will give me the benefit of not having to worry about algae. Again, this is going to be the design until the spring, until I've made a decision. I've also calmed down the lighting on the Bami, and I cut 50% of the white light down to 10% on the reef breeders. I also did turn off the T5s for the next week. So I'm just running basically all my blues at the same level on the reef breeders, 10% for whites and reds and greens, and then no T5s for now, and the Orphec blue bars. So that's it for the Bami, and I'm doing that to to help to avoid anything that might decide to develop as a result of adding literally 80 pounds of sand to the system, removing a fox face. All of these like kind of micro changes at once are probably going to cause a reaction. I'm already ahead of the curve. I already anticipate it. So this tank will run blacked out, cryptic, for a while until everything settles in nicely. I'll probably have a bit of die-off of algae, and that will be okay because, again, the lights aren't going to cause anything to go nuts. And then in the Bami, by cutting the lights there, hopefully that will cut down on any potential nasties that could come as a result of that biome shift. Now again, this is all an effort to balance the system out completely, not running filter socks. I used to not really like the idea of it, but now I'm starting to understand a little bit more about the importance of it as far as how I perceive running a tank. Again, I feel that we spend a lot of money on these supplemental foods only to then try to remove them and then buy other things to add back. I mean, to me, it's like, well, why even remove it in the first place? So now I can take away having to remove filter socks and all the nasty shit that goes along with dealing with filter socks. I can allow it to run through the system. It will gather likely in the sump, and that's my hope, so that I can easily remove it via water change. And yeah, I mean, the benefit, yes, the pumps are going to get more gunked up faster. There's things that are going to probably, equipment wise require more frequent maintenance. However, giving the alternate food source that's living in the display constantly and then never being filtered out, I think brings so many benefits for not just the coral, but for all the microinhabitants, that to me, it just simply makes sense, and it's the most affordable. I mean, a lot of these changes you're seeing are my result of, an energy bill that was getting outrageous, lighting all these aquariums, all the hours, T5s over this one, and then T5s and multiple LED over the other one, as well as another tank that's just running for one fish. I mean, these are all things that cost. The shift in the Bomi took 2 pumps out of the equation, and that was good because that's more energy. I've been able to take 2 pumps out of 2 pumps out of this tank that you're looking at right here. So again, more energy. I've now cut all the T5s off here, so that's going to save more energy. And then I'm also going to switch to a 5-hour T5 schedule versus a 7-hour when I cut them back on. So those are my ways of looking at where I want to balance my time moving forward between the things I enjoy. While I love reef keeping, I love every facet about it. My life has shifted in such a manner. Well, there are other things that I enjoy equally that I want to make sure that I have time for as well. So with that being said, here you go. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. I'm sorry to be so long-winded, but I hope you guys get the overall idea. Also, shout out to you guys. There's going to be so much content coming with sessions. I'm super excited about it because you guys are throwing down them questions, some really good ones too, that I'm really excited to answer. So keep throwing them at me. Much love. Take care. See you soon.